Trying to start a YouTube career is probably one of the hardest things you can do in life. You have a better chance of solving a cure to cancer and staying alive long enough to make it public for all to see. You have a more likely chance of finding proof of a parallel universe than starting a career on YouTube. And I say that as a failed YouTuber. And to be honest with you, I just woke up one day and realized, you know what? That's fine. That's fine. It's not a big deal. Everyone's not meant to be a YouTuber. It's just that, I realized just how exhausting it can be when you're constantly having to appease the algorithm gods of YouTube, when you're constantly being harassed and bombarded with YouTube gurus who swear on their life that their advice is gonna blow you up into the stratosphere for all to see, and where you can make a living off just making videos and sponsorships and Patreon, only for their advice not to work, and then to low-key blame you why it didn't work because you just weren't trying hard enough. I got tired of constantly looking at my analyticals and the YouTube Studio app, constantly trying to figure out what thumbnails worked, what video topics worked, what people didn't like about the video, what did people love about the video, what topics were relevant, what were outdated. Why did my video get 10 views after 3 weeks? Why do I have 800 subs, but only 5 people watch my video? It's crazy. Why is it that my shorts do well, but then my long form content just trash? Why is it that my shorts were doing well and now that's trash? Along with the long form content, it's so much to deal with. It's so exhausting. And I can imagine a lot of people, despite how difficult it is, will still feel like a failure because they didn't make a career out of YouTube. And I woke up one day and realized, you know what? That's okay. That's alright. It's not a big deal. Everyone's not meant to be a YouTuber, and that's fine. That's fine. But what I can say is that as a failed YouTuber, I developed skills that I'm actually proud of. Skills that I had to teach myself. Skills that people were not going to teach me, that I had to learn myself. Especially especially when you want to make videos and people didn't encourage you, and you develop good skills along the way, be grateful for that. Be proud of that. For the time I've been working on YouTube, from the time I've been, making videos on YouTube, I'm making videos probably about, a few years now, a couple years. And in doing so, I learned how to edit. I learned how to film. I learned how to write. I learned how to plan. I know how to use 5 different softwares to edit. I know how to use 4 different cameras to film. I know how to create pretty decent looking thumbnails. I know how to plan ahead and schedule my content creation within certain deadlines to get it out there in a timely manner. There's so many skills that I learned that I can't even feel like a failure at being a failed YouTuber. And I just realized, you know what, that's fine. And if you're in the similar boat where you're like, I don't know, it doesn't matter what I do, I just can't get it. You're not a failure because you failed at YouTube. You're not a failure at all. Because the fact that you put forth all this effort, the fact that people didn't encourage you to make videos, you decided to do videos, you decided to make content, and you decided to teach yourself how to do it. And these are skills that you can easily transfer to other avenues outside of YouTube. For instance, in this day and age of social media content creation, everyone wants to make money off the internet, whether it's individual groups or, whether it's independent groups or Fortune 500 companies. Everyone wants to make money off the internet. And the skills you learn, you can use that to help those people out. Because I'm thinking like, maybe you're not meant to be in the spotlight as a YouTuber or TikToker, but you do so well in the background as helping other people get their content off the ground. I'm not saying that, you gotta play second fiddle like a little bitch boy because you weren't good enough. No, but maybe you're just better off in the background. Maybe you're better off at managing the content. Maybe you're better off at time management. Maybe you're better off delegating the team. There's so many skills that you can apply so many avenues to. And I like to say is like, you know what? I don't feel like a failure. I'm very grateful. Would I really like to because we all do. We all want to make money doing what we love. That's why people create businesses. That's why people go into content creation. That's why people put a lot of effort into their education, become a lawyer, doctor, engineer. Like we all eventually want to get paid to do what we love. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. And I'm very grateful, and I think you should be grateful as well. You should be happy that you developed the skills that you did. Because in this day and age, your skill set is very valuable. And it's something that I learned when I started having little clients here and there, is that the majority of my clients know how to edit. They know how to film. They know how to create thumbnails, but they don't want to be bothered with it because it's tedious and it's monotonous. And a lot of times they don't like doing it, but they love creating content. They love the final product. They love sharing it and they love making money off of it. But they don't like the more monotonous, more tedious, boring aspects of it. And I learned that I'm good at it, and I really do enjoy. Like, a lot of people do find editing tedious and boring. I personally love it. I love editing because at the end of the day, me personally, editing to me, at least video editing, is just putting pieces to a puzzle. And the best part to me is like how to put those pieces together to create something really interesting, magnificent, fantastic. Something that people enjoy. I love putting it together. When I am taking pictures of, when I'm taking pictures when I'm photography business, I love capturing people's stories. I know it sounds so corny and so played out, but I do enjoy capturing that moment that tells a story, especially when you clean it up and it's all pretty and stuff. I love that. Most people don't like doing that, but they love the concept and they love the final product, but they don't necessarily like the more boring parts of the process. I enjoy it. And like I said, these skills I can apply to different things, different clients. And it's really interesting. So honestly, if you feel like you failed at being a YouTuber or a TikToker, or is Instagrammer a word? I don't know. But if you feel like you failed at it, that's perfectly fine. But the skills that you learned along the way is a driving vehicle to put you in much better situations, much better opportunities and positions. And yeah, I honestly believe that. And it's not something that I'm telling myself, gassing myself up with copium. And ever since I woke up a while back and just decided, I'm just going to make videos because I enjoy making them. And of course, I want to keep my skills sharp. So when, I do have clients, I'm not looking stupid. But I'm going to just make videos because, it keeps my skills sharp. And I do enjoy making videos. I enjoy them. And I do have a sense, I have a sense of peace. I have a sense of peace where like I don't have to like get this video out so earlier than others who I'm competing with because the market is oversaturated as anything. If anyone, it's a bit of a stretch, right? I mean, it's a bit of a side note, but if someone ever comes to you and say that whatever you want to do, oh, that feels oversaturated, just ignore them because we're in 2025 going to 2026 and everything's oversaturated. It does not matter what you do, whether it's engineering, doctor, lawyer, content creator, photographer, video editor, filmmaker. Even if you want to be a prostitute, that's oversaturated. You want to be an OF model? Saturated. You want to be a custodian at McDonald's? Saturated. It doesn't matter what you do. Everything is saturated. Just get over it, but just do your best to develop the skills that you have so that, people will consider you. Anyway, forgot where I was going with this, but I'm just saying like so many skills you can apply to. Don't let it get you down. It's fine. And take it from me, from a failed YouTuber, that the skills I've developed along the way is actually helping me create the business that I'm working towards. It's creating the business where I can help people elevate their content. I can help people elevate their brands. I'm helping people elevate, their stories. You help, the pictures, headshots, family portraits, events, all that. And I would not have developed them if I never tried at being a YouTuber. And I realized that like, judging from a lot of my content that I've made, you won't find it, obviously, because I'm done with, this is a whole new channel. I'm start over. But a lot of content that I created, I was not on camera because I don't enjoy being on camera. I don't like it. But when I like really look back at my content, I'm like, maybe I do work better. Maybe I do work better behind the scenes because yeah, like I barely show my face. And it's not like, because I'm scared to expose myself. Okay, wrong word, but I'm scared to like, put myself out there. No, I just don't like being on camera. Like I've done it in the past, only if need be, but I don't know. I don't enjoy doing that. And looking at it, I'm like, I always did better behind the scenes. I'm most comfortable behind the scenes, no matter what I'm doing. And you know what? I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that I have the means, the skills, and the patience to work behind the scenes and help elevate other people's dreams, goals, visions, and concepts. I'm extremely proud of that. So at the end of the day, if you're a failed YouTuber or failed TikToker or failed Instagrammer, whatever, don't beat yourself up because maybe you're better off behind the scenes. Maybe you have better skill sets behind the scenes where you're good with time management, delegation of a team. You're good with creating content, but not necessarily being in the spotlight. You're good with editing, filming, photography, so many things, you know what I mean? Planning, and that maybe you're meant to just help elevate people and still get paid for it. Like, I'm just saying, like, don't do the shit for free, but help elevate other people's dreams and goals. I guarantee you will get some satisfaction. And then even after that, you still want to try to do YouTube again. Keep going, keep trying. Don't stop. Don't stop. But from my experience, I'm like, you know what? I know my place, and I know what I'm best at, and I'm grateful for that. And I really think you should too. Don't let YouTube make you feel bad. Don't let other people make you feel bad. And don't look at yourself in the mirror and call yourself a failure because you quote unquote failed at something. When in reality, you really weren't failing, you was more so evolving and developing.